All right, guys, let's go over questions for question A. This one wants us to estimate the product. Estimate simply means about. So we're going to round each of our decimals to the nearest whole number and get our answer. So 7 and 8/10 rounds up to 8. And 4 and 99/100, the 9 gets a raise. That rounds to 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. That means if we were to solve and get the actual answer, it would give us an answer close to 40. For this one, the directions also asked us to estimate, so we're going to round each to the nearest whole number. 2 and 1/10, well, that stays at 2 because it does not get a raise. Rounding to the nearest whole number, 5 is a whole number, so we are going to put a 5 there. And 2 times 5 is 10. So if I were to actually get the answer, it would be close to 10. Make sure that if it's a multiplication problem, when we're estimating, we multiply. If it was an addition symbol, we'd want to add. If it was a subtraction symbol, we'd want to subtract. In this case, it's multiplication. So we're going to multiply 2 times 5 and get 10. Go ahead and hit pause. Go do the questions for B and then watch the solutions. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move to B. So this time the directions are different. We're not estimating, we're solving. But there's a big hint here. It tells you powers of 10 will make you jump. So what that means is anytime we are multiplying or dividing by a power of 10, we can simply jump the decimal. All the information we need to do that is right here. The symbol will tell us what direction we need to go. We know MR like a Mr. M stands for multiply, R stands for right. So since this is a multiplication problem, we're going to jump the decimal point to the right. And we're going to jump it, since a 10 has 1 0, we're going to jump it 1 space to the right. So we have the decimal 54 and 87/100. We're going to jump that decimal. So that means this decimal won't be here in the end. So I'm going to cross it off now. I know I'm going to jump it to the right. I'm going to jump it to the right 1. So I'm going to jump over 1 digit. That digit I'm going to jump over is the 8. So when he lands, he is on the other side of the 8, which gives me a final answer of 548.7. So I'm going to rewrite it. 548.7. So 548 and 7/10 would be the answer. Let's go ahead and do this one. For this one, if we are multiplying or dividing by a power of 10, we know this is division. So multiplication goes to the right, so division must go to the left, the opposite. And here 10 to the second power means 100. So we know that there are 2 zeros in our power of 10. So we're going to jump to the left 2 spaces. So we have 873.2. When we jump that decimal, it won't be here anymore. So I'm going to exit out. I know I'm going to go to the left 2 jumps. So the first jump is going to jump over the 3. The second jump is going to jump over the 7, and that's where it's going to land. So when I write my final answer, it is 8.732. And I don't have a decimal point anymore between the 3 and the 2. That one moved. That's what jumped. So take a look at your answers. Think about how you did, right or wrong. Think about how you can improve it for next time. Go ahead and pause. Do the next 2 for letter C, and then check your work. Okay, for letter C, hopefully you read directions well. This first one wants us to estimate, so we're going to round each factor to the nearest whole number, and then, since this is multiplication, we're going to multiply. So rounding to the nearest whole number, we know the whole number is 21. 9 is our boss. He gets a raise, and he jumps to 22. Here we have rounding to the nearest whole number. 0 is our whole number. 9 is our boss again. He does get a raise. He becomes a 1. And 22 times 1 is 22. So I know that if I got my final answer, if I really multiplied these 2 numbers together, it would be close to 22. For this one, hopefully you read. I did not want you to estimate. I wanted you to solve, and I gave you a big hint that powers of 10 will make you jump. So we have to pay attention to the symbol and the power of 10. Multiplication, well, I know MR like a Mr. Multiplication goes to the right. So I'm going to jump the decimal point to the right. 1, 2 jumps, because there's 2 zeros. So we start with the decimal 5 6/10. That decimal point's going to move, and he's going to move to the right, and he's going to jump over 2 digits. The problem is I only have 1 digit to the right. So when I jump over that 6, I need to find something else to jump over. It's an empty space. The only thing that can fill empty spaces are zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over that 0 for my second jump. So we had 1, 2 jumps, and the decimal point lands here, which gives us a final answer of 5, then 6, then 0, then a decimal point. But since we don't need a decimal point if there's nothing in the decimal universe, I don't need it because my final answer means 560. Go ahead and pause, and then we're going to work on the next 2 for letter D. We're no longer estimating. We are now solving. All right, so go ahead and pause if you haven't already and work on those. And let's go over those answers. All right, so it says solve, find the actual answer. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to play pretend. We are going to pretend this is simply 43 times 9. And I set it up for either way that you solved it. If you did it with the standard algorithm, you can look and see up here if it's a match, and if not, you can look down here. So 43 times 9, 9 times 3 is 27. I'm going to carry that 2. And 9 times 4 is 36, plus 2 is 38. So you should have gotten the digits 387. If you did it with the area model, 4 times 9 or 9 times 4 is 36 with a 0. And then 9 times 3 is 27. And then when you add, when you add, let's get rid of that, 360 plus 27, when you add the pieces together, you get 387 or 387. We are not done yet. That is only half the problem. The other half is putting that decimal point back in. To figure out where the decimal goes, we need to count how many digits live in the decimal universe. The 4 does not, the 3 does. He's in the 10th place. The 0 does not, and the 9 does. So altogether, I have 2 digits living in the decimal universe. So I need to make sure that there are 2 digits living in the decimal universe in my final answer, and that gets me 3 87/100. I can round it really quickly. I'm just going to erase that so we can see. If I round, 4 3/10 is about 4, and 0 9/10 is about 1. 4 times 1 is 4. So if you forgot to put that decimal point back in and you got 387, look how easy it is to catch that mistake when you estimate. You know the answer should be about 4. Your final answer should have been 3 87/100. Let's take a look at this one. We have 5 42/100 times 6. I'm going to start by playing pretend. I get 542 times 6. So I can set it up using the standard algorithm. For those that solved it that way, I'll solve it real quick. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1 next door. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Carry the 2 from the 25 over to the hundreds place. And 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. For those of you that did the area model, we have 6 times 5 is 30 with 2 zeros, so that would be 3,000. It's important to put those commas in. 6 times 4 is 24 with 1 0. And 6 times 2 is 12. And when you add those 3 up, you should also get our digits, which were 3252. We now need to put the decimal point back in. To do that, we need to go back to the original problem, and we need to count how many digits live in the decimal universe. The 5 does not, but the 4 does, and the 2 does. And unfortunately, the 6 is a whole number. He does not. So that gives us 2 digits living in the decimal universe. So we're going to need 2 digits living in the decimal universe wherever we put the decimal. It should go right there for 32 52/100. A quick estimate of the original problem would give us a real quick indication if we forgot to put that decimal in. 5 42/100 is about 5, and 6 is 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. So if I had forgotten to put that decimal point in and I got 3,252, that would be a clear indication by estimating very quickly that that decimal point needs to go in. Go ahead and pause if you have time and work on E, and then check in with me. All right, guys, for E, let's see if I can fit everything on here. I may need to scroll down as we're going. Here we're going to go ahead and solve. The problem is going to start with playing pretend. So we have 73 times 18 becomes our problem for this one. So 73 times 18. And let's go ahead. We have 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2. And 8 times 7 is 56, plus 2 is 58. So check that you had 584 there, but we're not done. We need to cleanse, drop the 0. 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 7 is 7. Check that you have 730 there. Add them up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11. Don't forget to carry that 1. Don't lose it in there. And then 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So you should have had the digits 1, 3, 1, 4. If you did the area model, you would have 73 across and 18 going down. Let me move him. So when we do our box and dot, we know 7 times 1 is 7 with 2 zeros. And 1 times 3 is 3 with 1 0. We have 8 times 7 is 56 with 1 0 for 560. And then 8 times 3 is 24. I highly recommend you don't add all 4 together, that you chunk them. But when you did add them together, you should have also ended up with 1314 as your digits. So if you didn't, is it a multiplication error or was it an addition error that got you the wrong digits? We now need to put the decimal point back in. We know that we have 2 digits living in the decimal universe, so we're going to get 2 digits living in the decimal universe here. If you forgot, a quick estimation would help you out. This is about 7. This is about 2. 7 times 2 is 14, and 14 is really close to our answer when our decimal point is in there. If you thought it was 1,314, that estimation would have helped you very quickly. All right, last but not least, we have 5 39 hundredths times 36 hundredths. Here we go. We're going to make this 539 times 36. I need to go quickly here. So we have 539 times 36. I'm going to do it without doing too much talk. 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 5. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 is 23. Carry the 2. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So check to see that you have those digits there before you cleanse. And drop the 0. 3 times 9 is 27. Make sure you carry that 2 to the tens column there, to the next column. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1. We can't forget 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. When I add up my digits, I have a 4. I have 3 plus 7 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And 3 plus 6 is 9, and 1. So we have 19404. If you did it here, I don't have time because it's going to cut me off. I'm just going to show you this should be a 15 with 3 zeros. So you should have 15,000. This should be 30 with 2 zeros. That should be 3,000. This should be 9 with 2 zeros for 900. This should be 27 with a 0 for 270. This should be 18 with a 0, 180. And then last but not least, this should be 54. Hopefully you chunked them and added them together to get 19404. We need to figure out where our decimal point goes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 digits living in our decimal universe. 1, 2, 3, 4 digits would be here. A very quick estimation. We know that 5 39 hundredths is close to 5, and 0 and 36 hundredths is close to 0. 5 times 0 is 0. If you forgot to put your decimal point in, you would have quickly realized that 19,404 would make no sense. The decimal point should be right here. Great job. Whew!